All right, what's up, you dirtbags? This is your host, Luke Eggebraaten. I'm so excited to give you guys episode number 99. When we looked ahead at, who did we want on for episode 99 before our big episode 100 extravaganza, we knew we had to over deliver for this one and live up to the hype. So I'm so excited. The episode you guys are going to hear just wrapped up with Marvin Joles. And for those who don't know him, he was the host of Blacktop Banter. He's, as you'll hear in the intro coming up, he also does 50 other things. He is a business owner, contributor, investor, award-winning influencer, podcaster. I mean, you name it. He's also a father and just an amazing guy. And you'll hear on the episode too. I mean, he has, and if you're watching on YouTube, he's got an incredible background and just a great friend of mine. We've been wanting to have him on for a while now, so excited to finally give you guys the episode with Marvin Joles. This is episode number 99. So excited for you guys to listen. I know you guys have been sending us messages of who you think the big episode 100 extravaganza is going to be. We definitely are going hard for this one. I think you guys as the listeners deserve a mega episode, and we just can't thank you enough for being with us for the last 3.5 years now and 100 episodes of the Dirtbags podcast coming up in 2 weeks here. August 29th is when that episode will drop. So it'll be a Friday, just like normal. I'm going to be teasing some things on the way here, but keep shooting messages over, tossing over who you think it's going to be or what group or business you think it's going to be. But it's going to be a big one. It's going to be heated. It's going to be so good. So excited for you guys to listen. So with that, I want to dive in here. We've got episode number 99. Happy August. Excited to hear from you guys what you think of this episode. Let's get right into it. Episode 99 with Marvin Joles. All right, what's up, you dirtbags? My name is Luke Eggebraaten, and I will be your host of this beautiful episode number 99 of the Dirtbags podcast. When you think back to episode 1, February 2022. Luke Payne and I starting the podcast. We had Mr. Aaron Witt from BuildWitt on as our first episode. Fast forward to today. This is episode number 99. Can't thank you guys enough for following along with this journey. As you'll see, we're going to have some videos after this, just a tribute to the 100 episodes, all the wonderful guests we've had on, the different events we've done, and to you listeners, we just can't thank you enough. So thank you for this incredible ride. As I was thinking, who should be guest number 99? This was an easy one for me and a fun one that I've wanted to have on for a while. Very busy guy, and we happen to see each other all the time out on the road at different conferences and events. And I'm so excited. If you guys don't know him, you got to get to know him. And I think you're going to get to know him really well over the next 1 hour to 90 minutes here. And I'm so excited to welcome in. And I've got a little intro, so be patient here. We've got Mr. Marvin Joles, who is the owner of Wiscoat, Dubuque Asphalt, the River Valley Commons board member. He's the asphalt industry entrepreneur, and he's an investor. I'm not done yet. He's an award-winning asphalt influencer. He's a national public speaker, and I've heard him speak. He is incredible. He is a writer for the asphalt industry magazines. He's on the NAPA conference task as a group member and Pavement Mag advisory board. He's also a sponsored pro golfer with Phaser Golf. So, Mr. Marvin Joles, welcome to the studio. How we doing, brother?
Dude, I'm just so excited for 99. It's so synonymous because I always feel like, on one hand, I'm always 98 behind Aaron Witt,
Sure.
right? So I've been on that track for a while. 99 is the exact number of my IQ, so we're there.
There we
And
go.
also, that's my golf score, dude. 99.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was meant to be. I didn't even know that. And um to be fair, when we had Aaron on, I mean, the first 30 days, I
What a
think
guest.
I think 20 some people listened to it, but obviously as it started picking up speed and as people realized like how did these dirtbags get Aaron Witt on episode 1, uh, I think it gave us a little bit of credibility, but it fast forward to today, episode 99. Marvin, so excited to have you on here. For people listening, go give Marvin a follow on LinkedIn or Instagram. You can at Marvin Joles. And then Marvin, where else, as we dive in here, where else would be the best place for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty open, especially if you're in the asphalt industry. Most of the time, you can find my cell phone number or my email, or you can just DM me on anything, and I'll get back to you. And I'm pretty proud of the fact that like over the years, nobody has got ignored, right?
Hmm.
So whether it might take a minute for me to get back to you when the message gets relayed, but if you want to type in the mix on you can type it on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you're going to find it. We have some really cool stuff going on now with the podcast dropping, and I have a great team put together, an excellent producer, excellent social media and overall brand manager. Um, I have a wonderful admin that helps me out, and we got a great videographer and whatnot too. So, pretty cool, man. It's been a ride, especially the last year and a half has been a ride. Uh, you know, Luke, for real, I always looked at these guys that could do everything and was like, man, I wish I could do that. Even when I was doing a lot and didn't quite realize it. Uh,
Yeah.
and I feel like I just got organized finally because I was like, dude, you're getting older. You can't just will your way through all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. And if you reach out on any of those platforms, anything, I'll make it happen for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah. And I usually mention that at the end of all episodes, but thought it would be perfect because I know we're going to get into a lot here I'm very excited about. But definitely reach out to Marvin. Marvin, you've always been so great to me. And I know for you guys listening, reach out to him. He's an awesome guy. And I'm glad you brought that up because I saved that for the after the intro. So you're the host of In the Mix, and you're
Yeah.
also the host of Blacktop Banter, which we'll get
Yeah.
into how that switch happened. But you are a world renowned podcaster. And so, for those listening, if you haven't heard Marvin's voice yet, last I checked, it was you guys had been listened to in over like 50 plus countries. You guys are running like 70,000 listens a month, somewhere in that range. Does that sound about
That's
right?
right. Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
ironically,
unreal.
even though Blacktop Banner it's not the main feature anymore. We're gonna have some Blacktop Banner episodes on In the Mix, which is fun because it kind of keeps the nostalgia there alive. There's a lot of Blacktop Banner merch floating around. I'd hate for people to say it's vintage. So we're gonna keep some of those episodes going. But yeah, dude, they're still kicking around. Like the amount of comments we get and episodes that people send me and say, "Hey, this one really hit for me." It's pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's a pretty neat thing. So, yeah, dude, it was surprising, to be honest with you, Luke. Like, it
Yeah.
was surprising. I'm an introvert at heart, or at least I was. I think I actually shed it. Um, and somehow I got good at that. I got good at
Hmm.
podcasting, dude. And I don't know if it was emulation or just a little bit of training. I had a pretty good mentor, a radio host here in Southwest corner of Wisconsin. His name was Ron Fruit. He owned the radio station. And I remember telling him that I was doing this thing. I actually interviewed him. You can go back and check a Wiscote Wednesday on the Wiscote YouTube channel. You'll find my interview with Ron Fruit. And I was completely not what I am now. And
Yeah.
afterwards, he was like, "Let me give you some pointers, kid." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, dude, yeah." Blacktop Banner's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. And it's what I love about having your own podcast or having your own show. It's, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can have whoever you want on the show. You can say whatever you want. And we are talking right before we hit record. I had a lot of questions, but I was like, I'm just going to save them for the podcast because the way I look at hosting a podcast, if I have a question, likely our listeners have that same question. And so I like to save those as I'm learning on the podcast as well. And so, I get to sit here with all the listeners behind me of just like, okay, Luke, ask Marvin this question or ask him this or that. So I truly like to just have conversations that I'm interested in and that I think our listener base would be interested in. So let's, I was doing some research on Blacktop Banner and I actually was a guest on your show, and which was so much fun. And you had 187 episodes.
Right.
A lot of success. And I figured we'll just kind of dive right into that piece. So, a lot of success. You see everything on the outside. You see these numbers, the brand. I mean, you go to any asphalt trade show or any construction trade show, you see blacktop banner stuff everywhere. All of this going on. Tell me about the peak. Like, what was the best part about blacktop banner when things were running on all gears, even in your personal life?
Yeah, so I think like the best part, so there's two parts, right? There was the best part for me, and then I feel like the awe, like the moment that leaves you in awe with Blacktop Banner. So the best part for me was our first sponsorship of
Mm,
$100 a month
that's awesome.
because I was literally doing it in the basement of the house. I was running quotes on my computer. I've been like binging Gary V, right?
Yeah.
They're like, dude, I got to do this right. And I remember Gary V saying, just turn your phone around and use Anchor, which ironically in this day and age, software just folds over really quick. Anchor got bought by Spotify, so Anchor doesn't exist anymore. But he was like, use Anchor and you can literally record from your phone, hit send, and it puts it out on the platforms. And I was like, okay. And like I was telling you, I was an introvert, dude.
Yeah.
So I recorded one time. If you go type in the Pavement podcast on probably Apple Podcasts, you'll find it. The audio is awful. I recorded one. I sent it to my buddy Charlie, who's the worst critic in the world, Charles Baker at CMB. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Dude, I'm not doing this. It's gonna
I see it here. I got it.
dude, I was like, this is gonna be so embarrassing. Um, and I was like, this isn't going to work. But there was something in me that was like, I want to hear this. If I would, like you were talking, you usually do it with 100 people behind you saying, hey, ask Marvin this. And
Hmm.
I knew that if something existed in a certain way, this podcast, I would be listening to it because conference season is over. For the next 6 or 7 months, the average asphalt contractor, owner, laborer, anybody involved, industry member, isn't going to get much if they're really trying to get some asphalt content or something in between. So I was like, I wish there was a podcast that talked about blacktop. Like I would really want to know, and not just like how to put it down, but tell me some interesting stuff. So similar to how you're like, hey, I just want to have a straight up conversation. I want to ask these questions about things I'm interested in. I think that played into my pocket a little bit because
Yeah.
I'm super interested and I'm a contractor who knows exactly what questions to ask because I'm
Hmm.
curious about this thing and it's applicable to me as a contractor who essentially are my listeners, right? Or the people that are with me in the community. Um, so yeah, dude, it was just this thing. So for me, the very first sponsorship, when I realized like I inadvertently created a business that was in the black immediately. And I was like, huh,
Yeah.
okay, so it's not much. It's $100. But if I don't do anything with that, it'll be four figures by the end of the year. And if I could do this like 10 more times, it'd be five figures.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of five figures to get to six figures. I wonder if I could get to six figures. And that was the biggest thing for me was just the moment of realizing that somehow something out of my brain had created revenue that possibly if I reverse engineer it, at that point I had become a business owner, right? I created a job for myself.
Hmm.
At that point, I realized I created a business when I kind of did some smart things by hanging around the right people. So then all of a sudden I was like, dude, I could completely reverse engineer this if this concept works. So I started putting it into action. We fast forward 3 years. We're hosting a Blacktop Banner conference kickoff at PaveX in San Antonio for PaveX's inaugural jump off.
Yep.
And we had over 300 people registered to show up, hang out. We gave away awards. We gave away a line striper that put somebody in business right away.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it was just this thing. And there had been a switch. To build that thing had taken a lot from the guy that was excited about his very first sponsorship. But there was two dynamics. Yes, it's possible to do something that you love and create and love that moment. And yes, it's possible to create something that becomes an iconic brand and has its place there and does something amazing for the industry that you're in. It did both of those things. So those are the two highlights, to be honest with you. Those are the two things.
I love how you brought up the first sponsor and the $100 a month because now, and I'll just bring up a quick story that it if somebody asks me, and I still have it, something that means a lot to me is there's two things. And one thing, and it sounds silly, but it was my first piece of mail that had Phaser Marketing LLC on it. And it was from Google, so it wasn't even like important, but it was like our Google Business Profile verification code, which they don't do that anymore. But I just thought it was so cool that like, wow, something that I created from like my
Yep.
brain is now on a piece of mail. And then the second thing was my first paycheck to myself from the business. And
Mm.
it was 500 bucks and I just wrote on there my first paycheck, LFG. And when I heard you talk about your first sponsor, it's like, you can hear it in your voice. Like you're so grateful for this other company or this person to sponsor something that you created. And all of a sudden you start to do the math and you're like, yeah, we're in the black. This is something I'm doing in my basement right now and something that I'm just speaking words into a microphone and having fun with it at that. And then you can start to build it up into a brand and into a business. And that's what you've done through the years. And then I would love for you to talk a little bit more on the Pavex event and more so what you did on that inaugural
Yeah.
day. And so Pavex is obviously very new. There's a lot that happened there, and then they came screaming onto the scene, and I got to go experience it this year. But that first year where you hosted that event, how did that come about, and who approached
Sure.
you, and then how did you tackle doing something like that from the podcast point of view?
Yeah, man. So obviously, I didn't just record the podcast. We had been putting out content that same thing that I would want to see, the interesting content, some cool
Yeah.
stuff, other people's job. Like, dude, we champion the people in the industry. So their businesses, some cool jobs, a lot of stuff. People love being featured on like your story, right? Even with BBN in the mix, people still send us stuff in because they want to get featured on the story. And we most of the time will, unless something slips through the cracks. But dude, for a long time ago when I started creating social content, Jessica Lombardo was the assistant editor at Pavement Mag, and she got a hold of me for Contractor Spotlight. And I remember going in there and I was like, I'm going to do some really big things in social media, I think. And she was like, great, good luck. Ironically, the article comes out. I get asked to write an article. I write the article about social media. NPE sees it, who is then partnered with Pavement Mag, and NPE asked me to speak. Jessica and I see each other again. So Jessica and I end up becoming friends through this thing, and we really, I'll never be able to explain the opportunities that was given to me early on by Jessica Lombardo, Alan Haydorn, and Amy Schwant that gave me an opportunity to be this oddball dude that's using social media and being on Facebook when nobody else was in the asphalt industry,
Yeah.
so a place to speak and a place to be. Alan just had figured like something's to this. And Jessica, her and I working together had made some really cool stuff start to click. So when NPE was done, when NPE was shifted ownership, and Payback's was able to be born by Jessica and Amy. It really didn't take long because Blacktop Banner had really built a head of steam, and I had Jessica on, and we talk very, very often, her and I, probably on a weekly basis. And this idea came together of like, let's work together. I really want to see my friends succeed, Amy and Jessica. And if I can help with that, I would love to. And in the
Mhm.
meantime, if I'm going to have the contractors there, I want to help them succeed. And we had some great sponsors at that point. And dude, by this time, Blacktop Banner had taken me to IndyCar in Nashville. It had taken me to NASCAR in Ohio.
Wow.
Dude, we talked with it. I made friends with NFL players who were guest spots and now, and like full combat fighters. They've been there. Extreme sports champions were on the podcast. So I had all this like aura, right? And my
Hmm.
buddy Spencer Boyd, who's my friend, dude, I talk to him every day now, which is ironic. If it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't even known the dude. But
Yeah.
he came to the very first one, and he was supposed to come to the booth. And he's like, "I'm here early. I'm coming to your party." People were partying, hanging out with Spencer Boyd. We were giving a bunch of stuff away. Uh, we really built up a head of steam. I put it on our content calendar and on our schedule. We did the interviews. I just feel like we did everything right
Hmm.
to really help our friends, who then gave me an opportunity to be featured with them as they were kicking off. And it's just a lot of synergy. I don't use that word very often, but it's a lot of synergy and people being like, we're with them, they're with us, we're doing this thing. It's going to be epic. Come check it out because guess what? The last one was epic and the last thing was epic and it's just getting bigger and better. And it's really cool to be part of that. And that's how we built it up and that's how we made something happen. And it's an unforgettable night. Even now, dude, it's still fresh in my brain. It was an unforgettable night.
Dude, that is unbelievable. And there's nothing more exciting than getting to do that with the people in person, especially after those years of building it up. You've had so many conversations, I'm sure, with these people. They've listened to your podcast, they know you so well. And then to get to hang out and party together in person, there's nothing like it. So that would have been, was that 2023?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so 2023. And then, and I'm sure too, like a lot of our listeners learning about blacktop banter, figuring it
Yeah.
all out. Like there's all these things going, and maybe even a little confused at, why is it in the mix now versus
Yeah.
blacktop banter? And so, uh, if you can walk me through and maybe start to unpack as much as you'd like that journey to now switching it up and transferring it over to a different style, a different
Yeah.
podcast, and just dive in on that.
Yeah, man. So, there's this thing, right, in our industry. You and I are big fans of like Jocko,
Hmm.
Joe Rogan, David Goggins, Cam Haines. I love all those guys. And dude, sometimes when I need motivation, I just turn some of those videos on and I'm game.
All right, you dirtbags. Before we get back into the episode, I need to give a massive shout out. We could not have this episode without our partners at Sludgehammer. This episode is brought to you by Sludgehammer, the global leaders in sustainable wastewater treatment. Sludgehammer brings sophisticated microbiology to wastewater engineering. At the heart of their innovation is the Sludgehammer blend, trademarked, a powerful proprietary bacterial inoculum that transforms conventional septic systems into highly efficient, environmentally responsible treatment solutions. By focusing on the biology, which they would call the software, Sledgehammer keeps the hardware simple, elegant, and easy to integrate. The result? A cost effective upgrade that delivers industry leading performance with minimal environmental impact. And it's not just innovative, it's proven. Sledgehammer systems are NSF 40 certified for single family engineered designs and rigorously tested to the IAPMO IGC 180 2003. That's a mouthful. Standard for both proactive and rejuvenation applications. They're also listed under the Uniform Plumbing Code, the UPC, giving you confidence in quality, safety, and compliance. Cleaner water, healthier soil, a smarter certified approach to sustainable wastewater treatment, and they are making septic sexy. Absolutely love the whole team at Sledgehammer. Thank you for all the support. And the listeners, thank you guys for jumping in with them. If you want to learn more about Sledgehammer, you can visit their website, sledgehammer.net, or, of course, which we would prefer, go give them a follow on Instagram at Sledgehammer Group Ltd. Shoot them a message, let them know you heard them on the Dirtbags podcast. I know they would appreciate that a ton, and also we would appreciate it as well. So now back to episode number 99 with the man, Marvin Joles.
But there's this thing, right, of this overall thing, especially on the business motivational side, where the more stress you get, the more you can handle it, the better and bigger things you're able to do. And when you think about it, Wiscote, we probably take care of 3 or 4 families here, right, with our employees and what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we are highly, I'd say probably 60% residential, 40% commercial, just because we're so rural here. We have to do residential. So we have probably 300 to 400 clients a season.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, and I'm still a huge part of that. Kyla here does a great job, and if we miss a crew lead, I got to go back in the field. I got to do hands-on deck stuff, which is not great efficiency wise, but when you're creating content, the people that follow your content love to see you out doing work, dude.
For
Right. So
sure.
so it's great on that side. And Eli is still 14. He can only do so much. So there's that. And in the meantime, we're quoting work at Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance in Iowa. So I'd get done with work, have to run down there, and then in the meantime, be back to record podcasts, and not only that, do the future planning and meetings with everything to keep things going. Delegation happened but still I created Blacktop Banner and I'm the integral piece, right? And not only
Mhm.
that, I'm really big into the creative part of it of knowing what we're going to work. And for every client, there is like a hybrid situation most of the time, and their marketing plan is different most of the time. So the content has to get created. I can't just put up a picture of something and say, go buy this thing, you know? And
Mhm.
most of the time, our clients are clients that I use their product in the asphalt businesses, right? So they want to see that as well. So
And
there's
when you say clients of Blacktop
sponsor
Banner,
partners, yeah, like sponsor and advertising partners, yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. And when a sponsor comes on, there's a product typically that you would help them sell.
Most of the time, yeah, or just help with brand, right? It's like we'll help get their brand in front of the audience, right? When
Mhm.
at its heyday, and it's still there, dude, we average over 1 million views for sure. We don't aver We are over 1 million views every month on something,
Wow.
somewhere around all the time. So there's all this attention, and that's what we sell. It's essentially is the attention of the audience members to our sponsors, which allows us to do things like the Payvex kickoff party, the Blacktop Banner
Mhm.
kickoff party. It allows us to do the giveaways that we do. It allows me to go places and record the content that they want to see, right? It allows for a lot of those things. So it's essential if we want to create this type of stuff that we have sponsors, right? So we're
Mhm.
very thankful for them. But it's not like selling asphalt. Everybody knows
Right.
what they're getting with asphalt. I need a blacktop driveway. I need a blacktop driveway. With the sponsorship clients, it's like, hey, we need you to focus on this machine for Q1 and then make sure that you do it in this kind of rogue style because we can do all the professional shots and stuff. We don't want that. We want the contractor point of view. Then other times they'd be like, we don't want the contractor point of view. We're the elite one.
Mm.
We want it really done up well. So then we have a whole nother thing, and I have to be the creative director of how we shoot those things because I'm the contractor that's going to be consuming the content. So it became a lot, dude. And then when we were moving states, we're putting events together, we're doing all this stuff. I was able to do all that. But it's similar to running a race. Like you can run it for a while. You can't run it forever. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to do that. And ironically, I listened to Dr. Vince Hoffelli at I want to say the very first Dirt World Summit, and it intrigued me that he was in such a high place in the asphalt industry and had a lot on his plate, was able to do all these things, and he shared his story about mental health and some struggles. And it really intrigued me because some of the symptoms that he talked about, I was experiencing, but I was good, right? I was like, hey, I'm still pulling it off. I'm good. Yeah, I'm having trouble with some of these things, but I'm still good. And then I was introduced to Erin Craw, Dr. Erin Craw, at that event as well. And she later on came and was a guest. And when we had the Blacktop Banner Success Group, which helped contractors out, she came on and spoke. And she was speaking about burnout and fight or flight response and prolonged fight or flight response. And when she was speaking, dude, it hit me like I'm in this thing right now and I'm good, but I don't know that I was like,
Mm.
I don't feel like I'm gonna flop. I don't feel like I'm gonna crack. It didn't take much longer after that. After that very first Payvex conference kickoff, by the end of that week, something had changed. There was some type of and in the midst of this, my first wife and I were going through divorce. So I was sorting
Mhm.
that out, running the businesses, doing all these things. And something happened after that that I don't know how to explain it, Luke, besides my brain went into like limp mode, like your diesel truck, dude, when it's like, hey, we're gonna shut all that stuff down because we're trying to protect this core thing.
Yeah.
So lucky enough, we had World of Asphalt already set up. So really, it was just go from Payvex to World of Asphalt. We had already had everything else set up there. I got there, did my thing, did the booth, shook the hands, met people, and did whatever. But I knew that my creative process had almost been completely eliminated.
Hmm.
The ability to conversate in the ways that I had before with podcast interviews was almost completely gone, right? Like I could do it one on one here, but it never was very intricate like we're doing right now. So I was like, dude, I'm just burned out, literally burned out. I need some rest. I fast forward from March, World of Asphalt, to beginning of May, middle of May. We had some podcasts that we were supposed to record, and I just couldn't. I literally just couldn't. What I could do was get to the office and do Wiscoat work. The reason I could
Mm.
do it is because I had an SOP built, and it was real easy. They call in, the request goes in. I look at the request, get the address, go quote the job, send the quote. They sign it. We do the work. We get a check, and the process repeats.
Yeah.
Really, really easy. I could do that. And then we started gearing up for the conversation for the PAVEX 2.0 conference kickoff. And I had a conversation with Jessica, who has always allowed me to be very candid. And I was like, something is up. Got to give me some time. I'm
Hmm.
hoping to sort some stuff out. Um, and she was totally cool with it. And my divorce got finalized. And I thought, well, maybe when that was done, it'd soften up a little bit. And it didn't. And after 2 months after that, I called Jess and I was like, I love you. If I had an inclination that I wasn't going to let you down, I would do this, but I feel like I could possibly let you down. And this is your baby, and I
Yeah.
want to help, and I will be there. I'll help in any way I can, but I have to do some stuff to get myself right. I had went into the doctor. I had a really bad episode in July of high blood pressure, and I went in, and it was like 189 over 128 or something like that,
Gosh.
which is like stroke status.
Yeah.
And I remember going in and the nurse was like, "We're gonna give you some medicine. Your blood pressure is gonna go down." And I remember feeling relief then. And then a thought entered my brain of, "Well, what happens when the medicine wears off?" And she's like, "Well, your blood pressure will go back up." I- Immediately, I have panic attack, and I'm like,
Mm.
"Something is haywire." So they recommended that I talk to a therapist. Which, dude, we're blue collar. We're not gonna do that. But I did. I went to BetterHelp, kind of put my symptoms in there, what was going on. And I was like, dude, I'm willing to try anything at this point. Have
Hmm.
the first conversation. He asked a bunch of questions. And I was like, I don't feel anything. I don't even know if this did anything. Get like 3 months into it, and all of a sudden, I'm feeling a lot better. Nikki and I had been dating for 6, 7 months at that point, probably. And
Hmm.
she had been able to see that I had gotten better. Thank God she stuck around for the first 6 or 7 months. I was like a train wreck, dude. And
Yeah.
right, the moments that we did have were with her and I together were really simple. It reminded me a lot of like what I'm able to do at Wisco. Dude, just show up, have some fun, share some love and enjoy yourself. Go back home, go to work. Like that was a simple thing that bore a lot of fruit. Um, but she noticed that things were starting to get better. And then from like October to December, I really just focused on getting myself better and closing out the end of Wiscoat. I spent a
Hmm.
lot of time with my therapist talking about a lot of things. And I'll give you two analogies he gave me, Luke. He's like, Marvin, you, I was like, hey, doc, I'm feeling better. He's like, good. I was like, I'm thinking about firing Blacktop Banner. We're going to, we had a bunch of podcasts already recorded. We're still going. Dude, I'm about to fire this bad boy up. I think I can pull some stuff off. And he was like, can I ask you a question? He's like, what happens if you put 20 ton on a 10-ton truck? I'm like, you're going to blow something out. He's like, yeah. And then if you fix it, what are you going to do? I was like, not put 20 ton on again. He's like,
Yeah.
you're about to put 20 ton on and we just fixed you. You're not a
Mm.
20-ton truck, dude. He's like, you're not quad axle. Like, you're a single axle. You're a 1-ton. That's cool. You can do the amount of a quad axle, but you need more 1-tons. Or you need to buy a quad axle and let somebody else drive it. So that really put into perspective of like I was feeling better, but putting that amount of work and stress and anxiety on myself that I did before was probably going to cause the same effect again. So I didn't do that. The other thing that he said it was, "Hey, if you get to a parking lot and you know what it needs, can you run me through the process?" And I was like, "Yeah." We get there, we're going to assess it, we're going to tear it out, we're going to regrade, put more base in if we need to. We're going to put X amount of asphalt down, make sure we use the right roller. When we're done, we're going to stripe it. It's going to be functional. He's like, "That's from a failing asphalt product." I was like, "Yeah, from, a failing asphalt parking lot." He's like, "You're a failing asphalt parking lot right now. Just trust me. There's a reason I have thousands of reviews because I've done this thousands of times. Just trust me. This is the process. You're going to be able to park wherever you want to just right when you're all done." So those are the two analogies where it was like, dude, why would I be telling this guy it's not going to work if he's been able to do it before and he's a professional? I wouldn't want that as a professional in my industry. So I just left it with those two things. I let him do his thing and I trusted his process. His name is Dr. Sapp. He's funny AF, laughs with me all the time. And, we ended up doing a lot together. And that really the dump truck analogy was the real slap in the face of like,
Hmm.
dude, you overworked yourself to your capacity. And then thinking about Dr. Aaron Cross saying, Marvin, fight or flight response was designed when you were primal for like 5 or 10 minutes of use for you to get away from a predator. You're living in it 24/7. That's why you can't sleep at night. It's why
Wow.
you're so worried and so anxious all the time. And Dr. Sapp was like, "Do you have panic disorder? Like when you have panic attacks now, it causes this issue in you. So we have to avoid you having panic attacks." So I took all the time off from BB. I let my team know in November that we're not
Hmm.
going to do BB. We're going to cancel it. Um, and APE magazine was like, that we still would love for you to write the articles. And the articles felt therapeutic, to be honest with you. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. But we're gonna have to change the name. BB is going and being done. And Shannon over there was always supportive. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna go on the road, talk to some of my friends, and use those for the In the Mix articles. And I did that. I did 4 or 5 on the road and I loved it, bro. It was just like in the
Mm.
old days when like I was creating content on Wisco channel and going to my buddies like places and being able to stripe with Mark Estrada, Captain Striper down in Houston, all that stuff. I loved it. And I was like, if I could do this, this would be great. I was like,
Yeah.
and then it would create content and then I could have these sponsored. And all of a sudden I realized like, oh, I was doing the thing again.
Hmm.
I was doing the thing again. So then I thought, okay, I'm gonna talk to Dr. Sapp about this. I'm gonna talk to Nikki about it. And Nikki was obviously concerned, right? Because
Yeah.
she'd see me in the worst state and she'd see me in the best state. She'd see me see, and she's like, I don't want to do this. This is it. I want to be able to help you if I can help you. And I talked to Shannon about it, and I came up with a strategy of hiring the best people that I know to take care of the worst parts of what BB was for
Mm.
me so that all I got to do is create the content. I just have to be there. Everybody else can do anything else. And thankfully, Jobber stuck with us.
Yeah.
Brunt's been with us now for a while. Um, KM International, we got some new ones with Moasia and of course APE. They're all supportive and helping us through sponsorship. We got some really cool sponsors that we partner with as well. First Form, which is it's just that's stupid, bro.
That's awesome.
It is so
That's
stupid,
unreal.
right? So the support from Will and Austin at First Form for me has been fantastic. And the Legionnaire program over there is great that I'm in. And then same thing with some of the other ambassador programs. So anyways, I say all that because the structure and the machine that was Blacktop Banner doesn't work. It's not sustainable,
Hmm.
right? You can do it for a while, but it's not sustainable. Y- For me, somebody else might be. My buddy Cam Roberts at Stripe It Like It's Hot podcast, dude, he can do it. He can do it. Brian Hess is very great at delegating. That guy can do it.
Yeah.
But for me, it didn't work. So here's this thing that I built. I was tip of the spear and took all the opportunities, did all these things, built it this thing. It was awesome. We fulfilled all of our contract needs, thank God. Um, no one can say that we didn't.
Yeah.
And it made me think, okay, I really love doing this and I want to do it, but I'm not the guy that just does it to do it. And I'm the guy that does it, and if he does it, he wants to do it to the best of his ability. So
Yeah.
now I had to find where the best of my ability was, and that happened within the mix. And we very calculatively put something together so that it didn't look like Blacktop Banner did to me and for me in capacity. And that's where we're at within the mix. The conversations are a little different. Um,
Yeah.
the way that we do the ads are a little different. And what we talk about is very different for the most part. I still am a geek. Like you're going to get me with Lotweg talking about how we move water from mines so that we can have clean aggregate for our asphalt. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you're going to get me talking with Bryce Harrim talking about, dude, how it's hard on us to put in 14 hours days over and over. And when we walk in and we look at our kids, and they're like, you didn't make this, you didn't make my wrestling match, you didn't make my baseball game. That has an effect over time. So we talk about those types of things as well. And we've shared some really candid conversations that I'm really proud of, man, because I really wasn't on the mental health advocacy thing. Like that wasn't my thing until just like anything else, sadly, until it affects you directly you don't think about that. But now we've been really fortunate to work. I've been fortunate now to work firsthand with Dr. Erin Cross. She has a study
Hmm.
out. I'll get you the link if you can put it in the description.
Yeah.
That'd be
Absolutely.
where contractors, asphalt contractors and laborers and whoever can go in, fill out this survey, and this knowledge is getting collectively put into a program that she's going to have that hopefully we're able to distribute to major businesses and small businesses to say, hey, this is what our industry labor profile looks like. with mental health issues. And this is the program or direction you should go to help solve these. Now, Dr. Vince is working with me as well through these interviews. Him and I are working on putting the book together so that we
Mm,
can talk about him all the way up being president of the company or me as a small contractor and how we're still affected in the same ways, right? And what we've learned. And it's just been this unique thing that as much as I love getting all of us together and having a great time and that legacy that we've built as a community builder, what about being a community helper in that capacity and really making a difference?
mm,
That's really huge for me. And I think I'm in a unique position to be able to help Aaron, Vince, and anybody else
yeah.
who comes along that realizes how big of an impact this has. Because even Aaron Witt, right, in his
Yeah.
presentations now, his numbers that he shows us, which are from studies about the opiate addiction, overdose crisis, and then the suicide crisis, is just, dude, it's astronomical. It's more than any industry in the entire world. And so, what are we doing? And how are we not doing something about it? I'm really hyped about that. And
Yeah.
that's a long way of saying I didn't think this was affecting me. It affected me. There are many courses that I could have taken to get better or at least numb the pain. And I didn't take those. I did what was recommended by the professionals and it has helped me. Right. And I feel like Nikki and I had a conversation today. I'm like, you're like 3 months from seeing the very best version of me that ever existed. Right.
Dude,
And
let's
Nikki's like,
go.
and then she's like, she's grinding, she's grinning from ear to ear. Oh yeah.
Got chills.
Yeah.
That was what a line.
Yeah, and it was just like the revelation of that, knowing that if I stay this course and do this thing, when I had to tell my team and my partners that I was shutting Blacktop Banner down, it was tragic in my heart. It was just like
Yeah.
I feel like not only did I let you down, I let everybody else down. But it's not that thing. It's like Tyson Fury getting knocked down and then getting up and winning the fight, right? It was just like, dude, this is epic. This is epic. This is the
Wow.
comeback story. So, I'm really excited, dude. But that's how we got there. That's how we got from Blacktop Banner like overloading me, and then me being intelligent enough. I was joking about the 99 IQ, by the way. Intelligent
Oh,
enough to put things together.
I believed
Um,
it.
yeah, dude, that's the impression I've made. Where you're like, yeah, this dude does have a 99 IQ. Um, I'm intelligent enough to put things together, and I'm caring enough to know that I'm not going to do that to Nikki or Eli or anybody else who's depending on me. And you do that by having great friends and a great team, which is I've always talked about relationship building and the connections that you make in the industry being your best resource,
Yeah.
not only because you're trying to do business, but just because you're a person and you need those resources in life. You can't do it all on your own. Brian Hess, who's one of my best friends throughout the years, always told me, dude, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Dude, we're in a long game. Asphalt industry,
Yeah.
your world's a long game. So let's just go together.
All right, you dirtbags. I need a quick 30 seconds of your time before we get back to the episode with Marvin, episode 99. Hope you guys are loving it. We need to talk about insurance. I know it's not the sexiest topic, but stick with me because you know this is important. If you run an excavation, grading, or any kind of dirt moving business, you know the right insurance can make or break you. And that's where our guy, the legend, Charlie Huff, comes in. Charlie isn't just some random insurance guy, he's one of us. He grew up in a shop, worked in the trades, and now he's dedicated his whole career to protecting dirt world companies like yours. His team is full service, fast, and relentless when it comes to getting you the best coverage at the best price. He flips over every rock, negotiates hard with carriers, and makes sure you're not just covered, but covered right. And the best part, they make it easy. You need a COI? Done. Adding or removing equipment? Handled. Got an audit coming up? No sweat. They take the insurance headaches off your plate so you can get back to running your business and listening to this podcast. So if you want an agent that actually gets it, hit up our guy, Charlie Huff. You can shoot him a text or shoot him a call at 435-764-4833. That's his updated cell number. If you can't get a hold of him, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM at Official Dirtbags Podcast. We'll make sure he gets a hold of you. But he can give you a free quote. He can look into everything for you and make sure you guys get taken care of. So, of course, if you reach out to him, let him know you heard him on the Dirtbags Podcast. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us and all the work we're doing together, and can really help him out as well. So 435-764-4833 is his number. That is Charlie Huff for any construction insurance needs. Let's get back to episode 99 with the man, Marvin Joles. Man, what an absolute blessing. And to look at your story, but also know too that, you're 6, 8 months from all of this happening, right? And do you look at it where, and obviously you mentioned Nikki too, huge shout out to Nikki. We'll talk about her in a little bit. Um, do you have these relationships now strategically also placed in your life of like, hey, if I start showing signs of this or that, like pull me out of it? Or are you still kind of walking on thin ice, making sure that you don't fall back into kind of that same cycle?
Sure, man. Yeah. So ironically, what happens is it's it's different, I think, for me because I talk a lot to my therapist and I talk to Nikki a lot about how I'm feeling. And sometimes it's not always the best thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get frustrated really bad and she can tell and she's like, "Well, why did that change? Why did that dynamic? Like we were having a great day and now you're
Mm-hmm.
frustrated." Right? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, there's not really anything we can do about me being frustrated. We're just gonna have to wait for it to wear off. I'm gonna learn
Mm-hmm.
how to deal with it and move on." But being able to talk to her openly and have somebody to go to where I'm able to do that helps keep me in check. She's very honest with me, which helps. And Dr. Sapp, being able to talk with him regularly is invaluable to me. Um, I can't talk about BetterHelp enough and what it's done. Like,
Mm.
I feel like because it's a business design online, there's probably some apprehension there. But if you had a therapist and it didn't say BetterHelp on it and just said therapy, you wouldn't feel that way. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a way for us to get there. I got a good friend, Cameron Hogate. He's the gravel boss. You can order aggregate online anywhere in the North America through him. I don't feel bad that I didn't go to my rock quarry right here and do it because
Mm-hmm.
maybe I called Cameron. He had a better price and it still came from the same damn rock quarry. Right. So it's not a big deal. And that's how
Right.
BetterHelp is. They're using therapists all over to help you get better. Being able to talk to him and him give me the advice that I really need of like, dude, you're overstepping. Or can you really take this on? Tell me how much free
Mm.
time you have. What did you do this week? One of his favorite questions is, what did you do for you this week? And I'm like, dude, I love doing what I do. He's like, did you say that before? I was like, yes. He's like, that's a lie. Like you do it,
Wow.
you might enjoy it, but you didn't enjoy it at one point. So he asked me what I did for myself, and a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it's something with Nikki, and
Mm.
we're very intentional about spending hours together. And the other 1 time out of 10 is probably with Eli doing something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes when Nikki and I are apart, it's more Eli than Nikki, but um, yeah, I'm super intentional about that stuff. I want to make sure that I'm doing the things that justify why I'm putting in the hours
Mm.
and grinding, right? I used to just
Yeah.
be grinding for the number, Luke, and I was like, look at me go. Look
Yeah.
at me go, dude. And then all of a sudden I was like, I I don't buy anything really, and I'm fortunate enough that I go most places I want to go because it's work related anyways.
Yeah.
So then why am I really doing this? I don't even have the time to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And that's a detrimental place to be in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be honest. Are you really enjoying the fruits of your labor? Because if I go to Cancun and I'm miserable, I didn't really enjoy the fruits of my labor. But
Yeah.
if I stuck my phone in my truck and I went Nikki and I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee,
Yep.
went to the Smoky Mountains, and I left my phone in the truck the whole
Dude.
time we were gone, dude. And literally, we just hung out in the cabin, played board games, ate some good food, went downtown a little bit, and then came back. Way better than some of the vacations we've been on, where I've been
Yeah.
stressed to the max. So I think you just have to take a really good look, and if you have good people around you and a strategy set up, great. If you don't have therapists, have somebody that you can really, really be candid with, right? And
Yeah.
somebody that you can kind of relay it off of and really talk to. Through me sharing about my mental health struggles, I've found other people who are in the same boat, dude. People that I wouldn't even expected, people that I've been around for years now within the industry. And as soon as I said I was struggling, they're like, "Yeah, me too." And all of a sudden
Mm,
they're like, "You are? For real?" You don't even know, dude. You don't even know until you say something and talk about it. So the biggest thing is just not keeping it in and talking about it.
yeah.
That's what keeps me in check most of the time.
Yeah, man, I can't thank you enough for sharing that too. And I got one for you here is, you know, what would Marvin 3 months from today say to you sitting here today? What do you think he would say?
Oh, dude, I hope I say you're handling the season just right.
Hmm.
Right. I hope that he's not saying, dude, I told you not to go that hard. I told you. I hope that, but hey, that's the struggle, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, it- you played, well, I seen you play football at a dome here.
Oh, I mean, come on. At the Colts Stadium, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So, if you're an athlete, right, you get an injury and then all of a sudden that thing starts to feel okay.
Yeah.
You push it, right? You push it and then you injure it again. You're like, oh, dude. If you're gonna push it too hard, though, it starts to hurt a little bit, it starts to tweak. And that's just kind of the line I ride right now.
Yeah.
I don't just push it till it breaks. And before I was without knowing because my body was
Mm,
great, right? Not my body, but my actual um work physique will put was great. And I just pushed it too hard, got
yeah.
that injury, and now I just kind of tweak it. So I just would hope that I stay aware enough through here, which then goes back to what your point. You have people around you that have an eye on you,
Yeah.
talk to that help keep you in check about it.
Well, dude, and I can't, I keep thinking about what you just said of like, in 3 months, you're going to see the best version of myself. And I just think that is so cool. And what I think these people that are so close to you have seen is how good you are and the man that you can be. And maybe that's the foundation, we'll call it. And then as you start, if you, which we will, right? We'll start to stray away from that. They can maybe pull you back to that foundation where they know this is just your baseline. But
Yeah.
like you're saying, in 3 months from now, or even a year, you're going to keep on growing and in the right areas. And I think sometimes this definitely happened with you. It sounds like it's happened to me in a lot of areas of my life, but with Blacktop Banter, it's like you think growth is the podcast, you think growth is doing more, and growth isn't always that, right? Because then
Yeah.
you look at what it resulted in, and in the grand scheme of things, it actually resulted in something very, very important. That here you are today, a totally different person than last year, even.
Dude, Dr. Sapp says something every time. He's like, I got anybody who sees me knows I'm inked up, right? And
Oh,
I got pyramids all over me because of the book The Alchemist is a
yeah.
huge thing about Paulo Coelho in my life, and I talk about pyramids. And Dr. Sapp's always like, "Hey, remember, you don't want to be a skyscraper. You want to be a pyramid. Those things have been around longer than any of us. He's like you want to be wide base, build that sucker. He's like they're still amazing. He's like, but you don't want to be something that can get blown over by the wind. He said you want
Oh man. So I was gonna ask you actually about your tattoos because you have like the coolest tattoos ever. And
thanks, boss.
what w any certain stories you want to share with your tattoos? And
Dude, they're all literally mostly all of them are the Alchemist. The book
okay.
Alchemist. So I have the Alchemist cover tattooed here, and then everything has to do with that story for the most part. When it
Mm,
shifts is when Nikki comes into play, because now
mm,
there's some. I have some from earlier before I had a lot of the ink, like have Elizabeth and Elijah's names on me and stuff, which is typical. But since Nikki now, there's some different ones that she has and I have that shared. So some of those are there. But really, to be honest with you, a lot of them are the story of Santiago, who is the main character in The Alchemist, and just his journey and his story. Um, it just speaks to me a lot. It's the same reason why I'm still here in little old Lone Rock, Wisconsin, even though I've been all over the world and could probably open a business and do anything anywhere in the world. Uh, that book is probably the reason why I just stayed here and bloomed where I was planted, I think.
wow, dude, that's so cool. And it is a very interesting perspective because, I'm from small town Minnesota, you're from small town Wisconsin, and it's
Yep.
so different up there. And we were talking right before this, but what's the population size of like the area you're
Yeah.
in? And because you're right, like you have traveled all over the world, but talk a little bit about your hometown and what makes it so special.
Yeah, man. So, I grew up here, man. I went to high school here and worked here for a roofing and gutter company, and then got right into business right when I started doing it here. And we got 700 people in the town where the Wisco office is, and that's the second largest population in Richland County.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
So then we have our high school where we go. When I graduated, there was 130 kids in my graduating class. And
Yeah.
I think Eli told me that his would have 72. So,
Wow.
so it's decreasing in size. Our population here is getting older, and there's a lot of farmland. We're land rich and people poor, which makes a struggle when they
Mm,
disperse monetary funds to schools based on how many people are there.
mm,
We have a struggle because our area is really wide, but we don't have the people for it. So there's 5 towns here, 4 towns really: Lone Rock, Spring Green, Arena, and Plain. Plain, ironically, is home to a few of the largest dirt world companies in America, I would think. So Kramer Road Company is there, Kramer Brothers, and then Kramer North America, which ironically they all kind of feed into each other. And
hmm.
they're owned by different Kramer families, right? So small town, you know this, small town, if there's a name there, more than
Yeah.
likely half the population have that name, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's very interesting that kind of dynamic. But yeah, and Nikki and I talk about this a lot because her and I, even in the time we've been together, we look back and we're like, we have been some amazing places together in some killer cities doing some awesome stuff. And then we were out on a motorcycle ride the other night, and I stopped out on top of a hill, and you could see the view of the river valley and the driftless area where we are, and it went on forever, and it was sunset, and I was like,
Wow.
why would we trade this? You see,
Mm,
farmers, you can see the irrigators out in the field spraying, and
hmm.
farmers are so far away in the field moving their combine or their tiller, and it's barely moving, and you're just, dude, it's just gorgeous. And I'm like, here, here, and I don't care. I guess you can come here if you want to and test this theory on my stuff. But we don't lock our trucks. We don't lock the doors to the
Yeah.
apartment or the houses. Like, there's not a lot to worry about here. You don't get messed with. Everybody, I have a lot of really close friends in this small town, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows each other. Yeah, that sucks sometimes when some bad stuff happens, but it's really good when you need some help. I'm okay being small
Absolutely.
town. I'm okay being small town famous, dude. I don't need to be. I got a hat somebody gave me, Luke. I'll show you sometimes. It says famous enough. I was like,
Dude,
oh,
I love it.
perfect. That's just right. Yeah.
I mean, you're not like you are small town famous, but you're also famous elsewhere too.
Oh,
So
for sure, dude.
it's really cool that you can have a little bit of both too, but still go back to your roots and go back home. And I love just your company Wiscoat of like some people forget that you're like a full-time business owner and like you're running the company. And by some people, maybe people that are listening to the podcast or just think you're this traveling speaker, podcaster guy, but like you're an entrepreneur. You are running the company back
Yeah.
in Wisconsin. And Dubuque, of course, and along with everything else you're doing too. So it's just it's so cool to see. And you and I have gotten to travel together. I feel like at the last 6 conferences.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun.
It's been awesome, man. And I just to name a few, like World of Asphalt, of course, love
Yep.
those guys. Pavex, and then hopefully we'll see at Con Expo, um,
Dirt World Summit.
Dirt World Summit. I'll be there, and which I do want to talk about. Let's just dive into that now. So
Okay.
massive shout out to your wife,
Yeah.
Nikki,
Yeah.
and she has been with BuildWit. I think it was like 3.5 years or so, 4 years.
And it's been a long time since
Yeah,
it's been inception. Yeah, it's been a while.
and it's been really cool getting to know her like from my side of things and just she is now like helping run the Dirt World Summit. And so I just seeing what that is turning into. I got to go the first year in Houston and then
Yeah.
missed last year. And I was just like, I was talking to Jason Richmond. I'm like, I will not miss this one. I won't give myself an excuse. I bought the tickets the second they came available. and
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't miss it. So we did the Dirt World Open the first
Yeah.
year and golfed, and man, what an incredible time. And it sounds like, correct me, you'll probably know this and I wouldn't, but it sounds like they're expanding the room and they're inviting or
Correct.
opening it up for more people because they're
Yeah.
seeing such a great return.
Yeah. I mean, I would get to get a front row seat to watch Nikki do her thing. And, it feels like uh her and I were talking about this today. Like we complement each other very well.
Mm.
She never really tells me how nice my hair is, but other than that, the compliments are. Uh,
Well,
the
let's see it. Let's see the hair.
dude, I gotta keep it under wraps for
I'm
everybody.
just kidding.
I want people jealous. The to be able to see her as this thing grows and they put you know, they have a great team over there, and more gets asked of her, and then
Yep.
more gets asked of her, and more gets asked of her, and she keeps doing it and putting it together and figuring out how to delegate it and um, make it work with her SOP,
Hmm.
and we still get time with each other, still get to do all these things. Um, it's pretty amazing, man. It could because that's her event. And
Yeah.
not only that, the workshops and whatever else they ask, right? It was a lot. I like Build Wit's impromptu spontaneity. Like I
Hmm.
love it. It's like they see a need. They're like, all right, we're going to do this event. We're going to
Yeah.
do this thing. Oh, they need training. Cool. We're going to provide that type of training. Let's do it. Like there has to be somebody who is good, and she's good.
Yeah. You
She's
have to
good,
be good. I
dude.
mean,
She's good,
she's a weapon. And
dude. Very
it,
much so.
and like you said too, and I think a lot of people know this that like know people at BuildWit and have worked with them, like they are trailblazers and they are paving the way, and that is very difficult to do. And with somebody like Nikki in the role that she's in, I believe event manager is like her
Correct.
title and like really running the Dirt World Summit. Uh, when you're a company like BuildWit that is transformational like that, you get a lot of transformational ideas tossed at you. It's like we need to make this happen, and just time and time again, yeah. And obviously there's some misses, but most of them it's like just making it happen. And I've had a front row seat as well at a lot of these events, and with Aaron and Jason and everyone there, and it's just amazing what they're trying to do for the industry and also what they are doing for the industry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you were talking about us struggling to get together on your podcast finally. Aaron and I are in that office in the wintertime
Yeah.
2 days a week together. And we've been talking about getting on Dirt Talk for a while. Uh, it's just one of those things because
Yeah.
they have things on their radar, and then they're so involved with the industry and the way that it's changing and adapting and utilizing what's at the forefront of it that so many things are getting put in place and they have to be
Hmm.
adaptable. So the people that they hire that are in this incubator that is BuildWit are very flexible. They think on their feet. They're creative.
Yep.
Um, I hate the word. I hate the phrase "fail forward" because I don't
Hmm.
really feel like they fail. I feel like at BuildWit they're like, "Hey, we're going to try this," and if it they at least get to where they accomplished it. If it didn't go exactly how it was planned, then they just divert a little bit. Like, well, this could have been better and this could have been better.
Yeah.
So we're just going to keep going forward. Where I feel like a lot of other places, like, it wasn't this massive success. We can't devote time to it again. They don't do
Oh
that,
gosh,
dude.
yeah.
They're just like, all right, we figured it out. This Aaron has this thing where it's like, this just might work, right? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they keep going forward. So they're great, and for that culture to exist in our industry is very unique,
Hmm.
in the construction industry. But I would agree that most of the time when I'm there hanging out at the Billwood office doing my thing, I love being around all the people there because they are all that type,
Yeah.
and that allows me to be around that type if I'm going to run into some stumbling blocks, which I do, right? So
Yeah.
it's nice to have that around you for sure.
Yeah. And so yeah, and I've been to the Build It office a couple times now in Nashville. Do you go there? Because does Nikki work in
Yes.
the office?
Yeah. So she still manages the office as well. So she
Gotcha.
manages the office in general and then is the events manager as well.
Yeah.
So BuildWit is, like I said, they're um adaptable. So
Yeah.
the thing of like, hey, if you live in Nashville, we'd love to see you at the office at least 2 or 3 times a week. And I love going to the office because I just pop my headphones on and I'm sitting on, usually I have a floating desk that's just, hey, so and so's not here today, you're in, or hey, you can be
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and most of the time, like if somebody's coming in, I'm usually working on something with Jason.
hmm
So I'll take care of whatever that task is, and then I work doing quotes or doing whatever. But yeah, if I don't have anything in the field or immediate to do, most of the time I'm at the office with Nikki and we're crushing. Yeah, most of the time
Man.
we're crushing work, dude. Like,
just just the dirt world power couple. Like you guys are amazing. I mean, and it's interesting too because and I don't think this is good or bad, but it's interesting when you think about a marriage and most of the time I would say careers wise they're different between the husband and the wife and
yeah,
your guys' careers are I feel like you talk about a lot of the same stuff. And so it's I mean, it's probably pretty exciting to actually hit on a lot of those topics that you guys are truly enjoy talking about.
yeah. It's our industry too. We have such great personnel and people that are legit professionals in the asphalt industry for sure. If you have a career in the asphalt industry, you're probably always going to have a career in the asphalt industry. You might switch what company you work for, or maybe your role a little bit, but you're going to be in the
Mm,
asphalt industry. So it's interesting because I would imagine in a normal situation, you would go home and say somebody's name and what they did, and your spouse would be like, "That's great, honey." Right?
yeah.
And with Nikki and I, most of the time we're sitting by each other, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not in the field or we're not in separate states. So when news hits us or something, flashes where we look at each other like, and immediately you already know the whole conversation was already had. You know what
Sure.
I mean? So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because like we'll see a piece of equipment or whatever, and I'll pull over and she'll be like, I'll grab the camera. Like we already know, like, hey, we're gonna pop up here, this equipment
Yeah.
picture and check it out and do whatever we're gonna do. So we have a really unique dynamic. What I really, really, really love is that I have these creative ideas, and before when they would hit my brain, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna have to email somebody or put this by or jot it down or whatever. And now I just blurt it out. And
Yeah.
Nikki's like, oh yeah, and then you could get so and so to do this, and then you could help with that, and it would be this thing. And I'm like, oh heck yeah, it would be. And then we could do this, and immediately we start building.
Mm,
Boom, boom, boom. So people see us a lot online of like, we're here or there. Like, do you guys even work? The thing is, we work a lot, man. Like I was
yeah.
up
Oh
this
yeah.
morning at like 5 and Nikki's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got a lot of emails to send out. I'm going to send those out. Eli gets up, gets in the shower. Then Nikki gets up. Nikki joins me. She's immediately on her phone, checking her emails, getting her stuff done. Um, but we crush so that we don't have to crush all the time. You know what
hmm
I mean? And it really works out well for us to be around each other and really communicate with each other what's going on in our careers because we're able to help each other out so much. Like immediately, there's things that I wouldn't think of, or things that she wouldn't think of that I'm able to connect the dots on, or she's able to connect the dots on that immediately helps us out because we might know the right people, the right situation, the right product to really make things click. And it's really great because a lot of my partners have become partners with BuildWit, and my friends are now friends with Jason,
Yeah.
Aaron, and vice versa. That there's this like I said before, I don't like using the word synergy, but there's this collective community effort to see everybody win.
hmm
And for me, that's what gets me so hype is that if you get rid of the competitive mindset and just say, hey, we can all win.
All right, you dirtbags. I just need 30 more seconds of your time here. We need to give a huge shout out to our episode sponsor, Elgin Corporation. As you know, Mr. Drew Nicolai was our episode number 96 feature for our 4th of July special. Huge shout out to Drew and the whole Elgin team for everything they do for the industry, everything they're doing for us, and everything they're doing for you dirtbags listening. For over 4 decades, Elgin has been leading the charge in innovative, reliable, and engineer friendly septic solutions. Their signature GSF system is NSF 40 certified, ASTM tested, and designed to thrive in even the most unpredictable soil conditions. But what really makes Elgin stand out is their heart. And as you guys heard in episode 96, They are all absolutely incredible. They've made it a priority to hire and support U.S. veterans, helping them transition from the military to meaningful careers in the trades. It's not just about systems, it's about service. We have tons of Dirtbag listeners that currently use Elgin. Some notable ones would be Pro Septic, Joe and Jessica, and of course, Dig It Excavating and Pump That Septic, Dervin Whitmer, and many, many more. So, huge shout out to Elgin, Drew, and the whole team there. As you guys heard on episode 96, it's not just about what service they're providing, but also how they can help our veterans transition into the workforce. So massive shout out to Elgin. You can learn more at elgin.com or most importantly, give them a follow at Elgin Corporation. Let them know you heard them on the Dirtbags podcast. It would mean a lot to them. It also means a lot to us. So with that, let's get back to episode number 99 with the man, Marvin Joles. We appreciate you guys listening. Let's get back to it. Yep.
Like we can all win. Don't you want that? Like
Right.
I don't want me to win and be the only one there and not be able to celebrate with anybody.
Right.
That's so lame. It's like, dude, I want to win with everybody. And I get so hyped because when I see my buddies win, that means there's a chance for me to win.
Yeah.
Not only that, most of the time, the people I hang out with, if they won, they figured out something that I can immediately ask them, hey, how did you do that? Oh, okay, cool. Now I'm going to win. Boop.
Right.
And if I go a little higher, they're going to be like, how'd you do that? Oh, I did this. Boop. And that's how the creative industry for me had worked with my friends in the green industry. When I was the one of the only content creators in the asphalt industry, I was chasing them in the green industry. That's how
Mhm.
I was learning and adapting and figuring things out. So for us to be able to do that collectively is fantastic. And to have Nikki with me now, I can't really speak to how well that sorts my thoughts out and
Yeah.
allows me to get some immediate feedback that I probably needed for a good
Yeah.
chunk of my life, right? Because I was a trial and error guy. Like, yeah, I'll just do it until it don't work, and then I'll try something else.
Yeah, and you brought something up earlier about that of really just being able to talk openly, even if it's not a confined thought or a well thought out subject, and you can just talk to your spouse and you're transparent. And I know with my wife Olivia and I, we have time for that. We set aside time for if we don't feel like we have talked about that, and just to be open and candid with each other. Like sometimes you need to talk to each other and just not have a fully fleshed out business plan or fully
Yeah.
fleshed out idea, but like, let me just throw this at you and see what you think. And a lot of times they know you better than you know yourself. And because they can see you when you're at your best, and they can also see you when you start straying away, like we mentioned earlier. And it's just so cool to have that open dialogue. And if I mean, I've been married now for almost 6 years, and if I were to give anyone advice that were like just starting to date or going to get married, it's make sure that she or he is your best friend. And if they're not, it's probably not a good fit. And that's just me being honest. It's like this person that you're gonna be having sleepovers with every single night. It's like you want to make sure that this
Yeah.
person you love hanging out with and you love having conversations with and doing these different adventures. So I just think that's so cool that you guys have that, but also you're in the similar industry. So I get to see you guys at these events. I get to see you at the Dirt World Summit, of course. And then are you guys doing Con Expo, you think, 2026?
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure the staff over there seemed to like what went on at World of Asphalt,
Cool.
and it sounds like we're going to be part of something pretty cool at Con Expo. So I'm hyped for that. And of course, um, Nikki's. I can't foresee any reason why she wouldn't be there, right?
Yeah.
So we're hyped. We're excited about that. You were talking about your best friend. Let's be honest with you. Your best friend will tell you, "Hey, dude, that's dumb."
Yeah. And you
Right.
need to
So
hear that
yeah,
sometimes.
and you need to hear that sometimes because I'm like, dude, I got this great idea. And she's like,
That's stupid.
for real? I was like, what do you mean? Well, this. I'm like, oh yeah, that is pretty dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the drawing board on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like no shame in telling you, yeah, that's a stupid idea. I'm like, yeah, now that I say it out loud, it kind of is.
So when I create content for Jobber, she is like my test subject. And so
Sure.
she's been in some of the Jobber content now, which is fun. But I'll send one over and I'm like, what do you think of this? And she'll be like, I love hearing you talk. Not everybody loves hearing you talk for 2 minutes straight though. Right. She's like, yeah, she's like a little more showy of the work, less talky on this one. Right. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool. So, I'll put it back together and then I'll send that to Eli. Like,
Yeah.
I don't send it back to Nikki first, right? After I get it done, because I'm like, dang, that was brutal. And I'll send it to Eli. I'm like, which one do you like better? 85% of the time, 90% of the time, what's the one Nikki was like, hey, make an adjustment on this thing. So,
Interesting.
I've got a pretty good core group. And believe me, Eli won't just, hey, that's dumb, dude. He'll be like, and also you're really awkward. You're like,
Yeah.
that's totally not cool. You lost all your aura when you said this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool. So he's like the brutal one, really, really brutal. So
Yeah.
good friend. That means good friend, I think.
Absolutely. No, I got to meet Eli. It would have been you had the blacktop banner booth set up, so that would have been World of Asphalt.
Yep.
As you were telling the story, I remember that, and obviously got to hang out with you a little bit, and then got to shake Eli's hand. I'm like, who is this 26-year-old that just shook my hand? And realized
Yeah.
that he was what, probably 13 at the time.
Yeah. Yep.
13 years old. I mean, he was a man. He shook my hand. Just like the conversation I had with him was better than most conversations I have with adults.
Yeah.
And I always put him in the adult basket. I'm like, I feel like I
Yeah.
could talk to him about anything. And I know he just he's a stud wrestler, right?
Big
And
stud wrestler. Yep.
he was I want you I'll let you take it from here, but I know he was on his way to state or like definitely going to be ranked. Walk
Yeah.
me through some of what happened and the support that you've seen for Eli.
Yeah, man. So I got pictures of him seal coating when he was 4 years old, and he just loved it right away. And when we got our first line striper, I think he was like 7 years old, and I knew that if I could figure it out, he could probably figure it out. There's two lasers on there that show where your paint's gonna go and where your paint comes out. And I was like, just point it here, and when you squeeze this, you keep the laser on that, and when the line stops, you stop there. Okay. 7 years old, 3 or 4 lines. We call them bananas because they're yellow and they curve.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again. And it was like the Karate Kid. He started
Yeah.
crying. He's like, I can't do it. I said, we're gonna be out here all day. And it was on a parking lot. I said, we're gonna be out here all day. What if they're all messed up? I said, then we're gonna paint them over and you're gonna do them again. I was like, you're gonna get this down. By the fifth line, he hits it and he turns around and you've seen him grin before. He turns around and grins and he knew at that point he
Let's
had to figure it
go.
out. So at that point, we just started him line striping and he gained a lot of confidence. And when he was 11 years old, he was featured in APE magazine for a layout that he did for one of our premier clients.
Hmm.
He designed it, laid it out. It was around uh, like a nitrous oxide gas container. So we had to make sure that all the safety stuff was there and everything. And he did a great job. And that's where like the line striping kid was born, was when he did that. And pretty soon he started getting some big recognition, started being asked to be on podcasts and
Yeah.
got his first sponsorship deal and all this stuff. And I've always spoke to him as he was an adult. I didn't do the babying. I didn't put up with a lot of fussing or whining, just because we were fortunate enough to go on missions trips and different things where we seen people that have it a lot worse than we do, and it just didn't make sense to complain about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he seen where I came from. I was pretty candid about how I grew up and how I got to where I am now, and that was just through hard work. And he literally has figured out it takes hard work. So wrestling was a great fit for him because it allowed him to be intellectual. Um, which I'm probably hard on him enough because he doesn't make enough intellectual moves that I wish he would make. He phases more to his strength and his athleticism. But he's a really, really hard worker. So wrestling worked really well. He had some great success early on when he was in youth because he was an athlete. And then once kids started to think more than him, he started to lose. No matter how strong he was, they would use that against him.
Hmm.
And he went to state. The next year he didn't go to state, and he knew why he didn't go to state because he didn't train. He just was resting on his physical ability. So then we go into the next year. He makes state. I think he gets eighth place in the state, and it's not good enough for him. He wanted more. So then he just become a machine, man.
A
And
dog.
dude, he became a dog. And I didn't have to like push him. I didn't have to do anything. I would help him with food and stuff, but he became just loving training, just loved it. And the more he did, the better. And then he started to lift and he started to run. And the next year, which was last year, we went back and he placed, or I guess 2 years ago, he placed top eight and then placed top eight in freestyle and fourth in the state in Greco.
Hmm.
This year, he wrestled really hard. He trained 5 days a week. He would be in the gym, hour and a half. He put on like 6 inches this last year, put on probably 20 pounds of muscle and wrestled some beasts. Like he's in the weight class in the age group where they're monsters. Like,
Yeah.
it's stacked. His brackets are always out. There's always 30 kids in them compared to some of these other guys who got like 8 kids in their bracket or six. So he's got a lot of competition and they're studs. These are national guys. Went to state for folk style, wrestled, lost, wrestled back, and ended up placing fifth in the state in folk style. Started wrestling freestyle again, which really he prefers freestyle and Greco. Um, we went to some of these events and he was wrestling some of the kids that he lost to in folk style, and he was whooping up pretty heavy.
Mm.
And then we were at a tournament. He looked really good. Looked like anybody who was watching him kind of knew that he was going to be in the conversation for state champion for freestyle and Greco. Um, we went to a tournament a week before state and he wrestled up and wrestled 16-year-olds, and he wrestled last year's state runner up for 16-year-olds and beat him 8-0. Tech fouled him, and
Wow.
Eli come over and he's like, I got it. He's like, there ain't no one gonna take me this year. 30 seconds later, we go out and he wrestles a match and just took a weird fall with a kid, and it snapped his ulna and the other one that's in his arm. I can't remember what it's called, but snapped it completely. Like the back of his hand touched the top of his elbow. He went to pick it up and
Oh,
it was just, you could see it was just completely broke. So he laid back down. He looked over and immediately he's like, "It's broke." I said, "Yep." I went over and he said, "My season's over." I said, "Yep." I was like, "Dude, just chill, hang out." We go to the emergency room. They set it back in. Dude, it's torture. Watching him cry
mm,
was brutal. He went from 6 foot, 14-year-old back to just a newborn baby that was crying and you didn't know what to do. He went immediately back to that. He had surgery 5 days later. They put in 2 plates, 12 screws. Missed state. He went. He didn't really want to go, but he went and watched, um, knowing that they should have been his. The biggest tragedy of it all is like this is his last year as a youth wrestler. So
yeah.
he would have, he'd missed a youth state title probably because of this injury. We started having conversations. Him and I are really candid about life, about I'm not naive enough to know that I might not be here tomorrow. So I really want to help equip him the best that I can in case that happens. I feel like
Yeah.
it's my duty as a father. Um, and we started talking. I started talking about my past stuff. My bout last year with mental health and where I'm at now. My divorce. Being born to very young parents, and my grandmother ended up having to adopt me, growing up poor, failing in business, and then getting back on the horse. But we talked about all the good things that came from all those, and all of them have very good things that came about from them, right? If I wouldn't have gone through a divorce, I wouldn't have Nikki now. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine not
Mm,
having Nikki now. And same thing with Eli. Eli loves Nikki. He can't imagine not having Nikki now. So there's
yeah.
these things where in the moment, him and I talk about how tragic it is, but you give it time and you look at it with a different set of lenses and not focus on what you lost and how negative it is. Start looking for the good things that could come from it. And more than likely, you are going to take the trajectory towards those good things. And, now here we are, right? Eli's got this incredible story. He's going to wrestle in mid-July, we hope, at something called the Glow Down Throwdown. So it's at a
Let's
roller
go.
skating rink. It's black lights. He's going to get a fluorescent. He's wild, dude. He loves wild stuff. So he's going to get a fluorescent singlet, I think. But there's this conversation of him saying, "Hey, I had this incredible tragedy, this incredible injury." And we look towards the future of him being a Tennessee state champion wrestler because he's going to go to school in Tennessee for the next couple of years for sure. And then he's talked about coming back to Wisconsin, winning 2 Wisconsin titles. So
Mm,
who knows what's in this kid's future? But here's this tragedy that turns to triumph that he's able to use to overcome. The biggest thing for me, being able to be his father and being a little bit farther along in life now, is knowing that he is going to learn this skill of taking an incredible loss and how to recover from it,
yeah.
and how to use what you got from it to your advantage to make it into something great. I don't think you can't really teach that. Like you have to go through that and experience it. And I experienced that in my late 20s, early 30s. He's experiencing it now in his early teenage years, but he has a father, and I'm not trying to brag on myself enough or anything, but he has a father who has a great perspective and a philosophical kind of vision of the world, that I'm able to speak this so that he's aware of it and can see it right now, that hopefully plays into his advantage as he has life experiences going on.
Yeah.
I just want him to be happy, Luke. Like for my kids, for Nikki's kids, for Nikki, they're all our kids now. This is our family. For Eli, dude, I have just there's no denying him and I are connected really, really tightly. I just want him to be happy. I don't want him, if he doesn't want to be a gold medalist, I don't want him to be. If he doesn't want to be a successful entrepreneur, I don't want him to be. If he wants to live in a cabin and fish in the mountains and see people 3 times a year, that makes him wonderfully happy. That's what I want for him. But I
Yeah.
want him to be aware of how to make that happen and what to look for in order to make that happen.
Yeah, man, what a great message. And I've always been so impressed when I get to talk to him, when I get to talk to you. Obviously, having you on the podcast was something I was really, really looking forward to, just to open up a lot of this. And it's really cool too, hearing the personal side of your life along with the business, because they're so intertwined. And I think that's important, right? Because our lives shouldn't be work and then personal life, or at least maybe in my opinion, as an entrepreneur, I don't want to necessarily shut it off, but I don't want to shut out my personal life either. So how it's intertwined and the lessons that you learn from both can play a positive impact in your life, and just like you said too, just being happy, and like that's what you want for yourself, but that's also what you want with the closest with the people closest to you. And I just think that it shows so well in how you carry yourself, but also how those around you, speak about you. And and I can't say enough great things as well about you, Nikki, and of course Eli, and everyone that you hang out with. It's like a lot of the same people I hang out with, and I think
Yeah,
there's
we're
no
pretty
surprise
fortunate.
there that there's just some. And of course, I want to use this time to shout out Bryce Harem. You talked about him
Yeah.
a little earlier. I've got the hat on, the foundation group, and just some amazing people that we get to interact with on a daily basis. So, yeah, just feeling very grateful, man, and very grateful that we finally got to host you episode 99 on the
Yeah, dude.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited, dude. We are very, very fortunate, and I feel like sometimes, like, so last time you and I got to hang, we were in the Rams Superdome where they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
It's like, what? Whose life is this? Right?
Yeah,
Whose life is this? We were there where Kurt Warner played, Marshall Faulk played, Isaac Bruce, and those guys won a championship there. It's stupid. This is just
yeah,
stupid, dude. We were hanging out with Matt Stanley. We've created this amazing life by just being, for me anyways, I'll speak for me candidly, by being a good person, seizing opportunity, and giving more than you
yeah,
receive more than what you could ever give. It's a weird dynamic, but I'm never out of place enough or high enough up that I don't stop you and be like, "Hey, bro, look around, dude. We're in the Rams Superdome. Like,
right,
stupid,
right.
right? This is stupid. What a crazy life, dude. I just feel incredibly blessed. And shout out Bryce. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in people's lives where they tell me I make a difference, and then I get to watch them go out and do some cool stuff and start making a difference. It sounds cliche, but that's for me, that's really the fruits of life, to be honest.
Yeah,
Dude. Just to see people happy, like that's what I care about. When you get success, dude, I get hyped. When Jason says, "Hey, we can land another sponsorship," dude, I get hyped. When
yeah,
somebody says this introduction to this did this for me, I'm like, yes, let's go, because it's all working in unison. We're
yeah,
just our brains can't comprehend how complex the universe and God are to make all this happen. And he just wanted, they did, we're just supposed to live happy, good lives. And dude, we get to do that. We get to do that
Yeah.
on the road when we hang out. It's wild. We live a wild life. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a bless.
Yeah, and it's funny too, hearing you say that. I think I get more enjoyment and excitement when I refer business out to other people rather than like when we get new clients.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love when we get new clients and new partners, but when you can kind of connect somebody else with a potential lead or a partner, it is just such a great feeling because other people are winning. And this podcast has been an amazing outlet for me and for you and for Luke Payne and for all of us, all of our guests that we have on to connect with, you know, people in the dirt world, right? And this is just such an easy, fun way to connect with them and to share stories and to share advice and insightful habits and strategies. And it's just, I feel very blessed we get to do this for a living almost. And like this is part of my job and part of your job. And yeah, but it all goes back to the relationship side of it. Of if nobody's listening to your podcast or to the dirtbags, I'd probably still try to do it, but it would be a lot harder. And it's so much fun when you can build that community inside the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. You think, Luke, like before the internet, before cell phones, you used to have to go have conversations with people and talk to people, right? And this episode 99, I can almost guarantee you there are people who haven't had 99 conversations that are an hour and a half long in their entire lives, probably with different people. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
So we're pretty fortunate in that regard, right? Like we have the skill that we're developing and being part of. Um, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love it.
Dude, that's a great. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Like, what are the odds I get to sit down with somebody like Marvin for an hour and a half and just talk, just us two? Like, never.
Yeah.
And but with the podcast, and I guess maybe that's a piece of advice. Like, if anyone just wants to get better at communicating, just start a podcast, and it doesn't have to be anything big, but you just have these wonderful conversations and you learn a ton. Which brings me into my final segment, which is one of my favorites, is our book recommendations. I didn't
Yeah.
want to forget this, so I threw it in here. We always do these towards the end. Any sort of books or podcasts or any piece of reading or coaching that you absolutely love that you want to give a shout out to our listeners for, and just anything that you've been consuming on the educational side.
So I've been really digging into audiobooks lately, if I can. And I always did, obviously I'm gonna say The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I listen
Yeah,
to that
for sure.
I probably listen to it once a quarter. And I
Wow.
always pick something up different in it. When I like reading it, but I really love listening to it because Jeremy Irons is the narrator on my Audible version, and he does such a great job. But Andre Agassi's audiobook was fantastic. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I just got done with it. It was fantastic, and I really have been enjoying um, Jeremy Renner's audiobook that just come out, which is a book, obviously, but it's about, and maybe this is has to do with like my recent life and Eli's thing that he's dealing with. But Jeremy Renner is the actor that played Hawkeye on the
Yep.
Avengers.
Oh,
He
dude,
got ran
yes.
over by that snow machine, and like,
Yeah, I listened to that interview he did. I think it was with Joe Rogan.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Just to hear the fact that he's alive, first of all, is
Crazy.
unbelievable. And then to hear what he had to do in order to rehab himself to come back to be Jeremy Renner again, uh, it's nothing short of just phenomenal. Like those are the ones I've been on lately quite a bit.
Oh
There's just
man.
those inspirational ones and motivational ones. So, yeah, dude, that's what I've been sticking to a lot lately. I'm big on going back and rereading stuff that I knew I gathered quite a bit from. Um, so I do that quite a bit. The Highest Calling, I reread that one quite a bit. Any of the Gary Vee stuff,
Yeah,
it's starting to get dated though.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
the Thank You Economy, I reread it because I think that that's always going to exist really well. But yeah, I stick to those ones for the most part, man. I don't know what it is about me. There's a lot of people. I think I have to listen to something or read it three times before it actually sinks in, probably.
Yep. Same, dude. I've toured
Yeah.
it two to three times. Yeah.
So I don't like just shuffling. I have so many books, but I haven't read the majority of them because I keep going back and reading what I'm
Yep.
supposed to do. But if I could recommend one book, and I was like, okay, it's not The Alchemist. Tony Hsieh, who passed away, he started Zappos and he wrote Selling Happiness.
Mhm.
Dude, it's so good. On the business side, it's so good. And the concept is really simple. It's a great book.
Man, I love that so much. One um podcast I've been getting into more, and I think most of our listeners are probably big fans already, and I was just late to the party. Sean Ryan, and fell into my YouTube algorithm, and I have been absolutely hooked. It is all like veterans and war stories and the inside, and he was talking about it on a clip I was just listening to. Kind of the criteria of who can be on his podcast. And he's like, I'm not looking for anyone to, promote their book or promote their podcast or anything. He's like, I want the people that, nobody knows anything about, but they have a story to tell. And I want to give them that platform and that ability to do so. And dude, I've been on a binge of all of these, and he is just such an incredible guy. And the way he holds these interviews and the way he just lets people tell these in-depth stories about war just has me captivated. So that's been what I've been on, and something a little different. I think I focus usually so much on business books and self-help books, but this has been a really, really great release, I guess you could say, of learning more about history and especially when it comes to our veterans and the wars we've been in.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you realize we're human.
Oh, absolutely,
It's a
man.
good reminder that we're not here just to make money,
Yeah.
right? To create revenue.
100%. So, man, with that, that is a wrap on episode number 99. Mr. Marvin Joles. If you guys are still listening, go give Marvin a follow. Like we said at the beginning, reach out to him. He'll get back to you when he can. And at Marvin Joles on Instagram, but you can also find him on Facebook and LinkedIn, of course. Go shoot him a connection request and just let him know that if you got anything from this podcast, if you thought it was interesting, if you felt a certain way about it, just shoot him a message, shoot me a message. Marvin, we can't thank you enough for being on the show, opening up about everything, and then just making this happen. This is a really special episode.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. If anybody's following along still, and if you see me speaking at an event or you see me just hanging out, creating content, please come up and say hi. Like I would love to meet you and catch your story and connect for sure.
Heck yeah. All right, guys, you dirt bags. Thank you for listening. That is episode number 99, and that is a wrap.